Well, hello everybody. Today I would like to share with you how I make black cavendish and how I stove tobacco. Um, at the moment I have a big bag of Kentucky leaves, and I'm not so familiar with using Kentucky in blends. Um, I've smoked it straight from the leaf, and yeah, it's a bit boring. I can't really find anything there very interesting, to be honest, smoking it on its own. Um, so what I've done is I filled up 3 jam jars in the pressure cooker with the Kentucky leaf. Now the black cavendish, which I'm making simultaneously in the pressure cooker, takes around 5 hours. So what I'm planning on doing is every hour and a half or so, I'm going to depressurize the pressure cooker, and I'm going to take one of the jars of Kentucky out. So after the 5 hours, I'm going to have 3 separate jars that have all been stoved for different lengths of time. And then I can go through them and compare them and see what the changes are for the better or the worst. And I've decided to do a batch of black cavendish at the same time. Well, just because it's quite good to have around for blending. But I kind of have a feeling that this Kentucky, for the tasting of it'll be quite good to have a black Cavendish background. Um, okay then, so without further ado, I'm going to change the camera angle, and I'm going to show you the first hour and a half cook, and we can see the colour change of the Virginia leaves that I'm making the Cavendish with. Take one of the jars out and put it back in for another hour and a half. Okay, catch you in a minute. Just as a side note, this is the force I have the pressure cooker at. It's not whistling or spinning round. It's up to pressure. It can just sit there like that on a really low flame. I can hear this pressure in there. The valve doesn't have to be spinning round or going crazy or anything like that. It's just gently. Okay, so you can see that's the Virginia leaves on top there. So I'm hot and steaming. So I'm going to take these out, and I'm going to repack them because if the steam doesn't penetrate, it doesn't really change colour so much. I'm not sure if I can do this one-handed. If I just take some out and put it on the plate here. See, it started off this colour, and this is after an hour and a half, so it's really evident there's a change going on straight away. Well, I'm going to unpack this because I can't do it one-handed, so I'll get back to you in a second. As you can see, underneath that Cavendish, it is sitting on top of the 5 jam jars. There's only 3 of them have got tobacco in, the other 2 are literally there just to help support the Cavendish on top, the Virginia leaves. I'm using the German Virginia leaf because it's a lot thicker. And in the past, when I've used bright Virginias or golden Virginias, the leaves are very thin, and it kind of all just becomes a stuck together glob that's really hard to separate the leaves. So I'm going to give it a go of this German Virginia this time. Okay, well, I'm going to get one of these jars out, and again I need both hands, so bear with me for a few seconds, please. Okay, so here's the Kentucky I'm getting out. It's a bit shady. So I really crammed the jam jar in full. It's really tightly wedged in there. Yeah, there's not much colour change. The smell's changed a bit. It's yeah, it's difficult to describe. It's slightly woody, even slightly mushroomy, I guess. But this is it's jammed in there very tightly. Okay, so I'm going to put this in a bag and label it as number 1 or something. That's the first hour and a half of cooking, and yeah, I'll get back to you when it's time to take the next jar out, and we can see how much more the colours changed on the Cavendish. Okay, so this is at the 3-hour mark for the Cavendish. yeah, I'd say it's darker than the hour and a half mark. Normally takes 5 hours. I can never get it totally black because it's got something to do with steam penetration, I think. But you can definitely see like areas here starting to blacken. So yeah, I'm going to give that another hour and a half, another 2 hours, and hopefully that will be about that. It goes brown because the sugars in the Virginia caramelise effectively. I've just taken the second jar of Kentucky out, and there isn't much colour change at all. But I don't think there's as much sugar in Kentucky, so there isn't much to caramelise. But it smells different for sure. I mean, the first lot that come out is very bready, you know, yeasty, bready smell. The second jar of the Kentucky is more, yeah, a bit more nutty. I think would be the best word to describe it. So anyway, I'll get on, reload the pressure cooker, and give it its final blast. Yeah, so here we are. A nice big pile of black cavendish. It's been drying for a few days. It's still not perfect, but it's good enough to start working with. And what I'm going to do, which I always tend to do when I'm blending, I'm going to put it through this little hand crank thing. And yeah, shred it up a bit. I think it's about a 1mm cut, this, or 0.8, I forget. Yeah, it's in better days, this one, but it's good enough to do small amounts. Yeah, I tend to do this when I'm blending because it makes it burn a bit more evenly, just to get an idea. And also because some of this is a bit damper and a bit drier, yeah, it just homogenises out if I put it into something airtight. So right, I'm going to crack on and get this lot shredded up, and yeah, be back soon. Yep, just to show you the Kentucky leaves. They've been toasted. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to shred these as well. And I think I'm just going to mix the 3 different kinds up because, oh man, yeah, you know, don't want to make a rod for my back blending 3 different kinds of Kentucky. So I think I'm going to mix all them up, and again, I'm going to shred them. And then, yeah, I'll case it in some molasses, I think. I think molasses goes quite well with sort of darker tobaccos. So I'll get on with that, and then yeah, I'll get back to you when it comes to casing. Okay, casing. This is all the Kentucky. Shredded up. This has been in the oven on a low heat, so it's kind of warm, and it's just starting to yeah, it's just starting to dry out a bit. So without burning myself. It's quite a messy thing, so I use this big old tub. See, there's a bit of steam coming off. And yeah, here we have, it's covered in mud because I'm restoring this old house and I'm using the traditional method of mud and straw. If you can see on the wall, that's just like the first coat. It insulates, and it's a stone house, so it locks all the stones in. But yeah, I use this sprayer to wet the walls down, hence it's covered in mud. And then yeah, and this is yeah, it's a big dollop of molasses and just enough water to get it through the sprayer, really. I'll probably put it back in the oven again. Some of these strands are really long, but I find they kind of naturally break up into a decent length after you've like done all this playing around with it, and then yeah, that's about all there is to it, really. Cool. Now I'm going to get this down to, I'll probably put it back in the oven, just in the crock pot for a few minutes to get it down a bit. Maybe give it another spray just to ensure it's all there. And yeah, and then we're down to getting the small pipes out and doing some tasting and seeing what we can do from there. Well, after 2 or 3 days of smoking the various components, yeah, I kind of have ended up with the final product. Let me see if I can show you. That's probably not the best shot, but yeah, I mean, the cavendish was nice. The Kentucky, to be honest, I just couldn't really find much flavour with it, so I did something I don't often do, is I actually did give it a bit of a vanilla topping. To do that, I just use vanilla extract from the store. I don't use whiskey or cognac or anything. I just use pure corn syrup ethanol. It's totally safe alcohol for consumption, because it's almost 100% evaporation rate, and when it's gone, it leaves no taste, smell, anything like that, and just leaves the vanilla there, so it doesn't moisten the tobacco. And yeah, and then I smoked it like that for a day or two, and then just to give it a bit more character, I had some red Virginia left over, some stoved red Virginia, so I put some of that in and smoked a few bowls, adjusted it, and yeah, I've got it somewhere where I like it. And it sounds like there's some machinery about to drive past. Yeah, and I'm smoking the beast. This thing's massive, absolutely huge. Yeah, I found it on eBay. I think it was really cheap. It was about €8. It's unmarked, but yeah, the drilling's perfect, the grain's lovely, there's no fills or pits on it. Yeah, one of those mystery pipes. I've just finished deoxidising the stem, giving it a bit of a buff up with some wax, and yeah, it smokes nice. So yeah, well, thanks for joining me for that, and hope to see you soon. I think at the weekend I'm going to check out, see how my homemade perique's doing, so maybe I'll share that with you guys, and yeah, take care, and until next time, thanks for your time, as always.